what does it do to our body when we eat after 10 p.m.? What happens to our body?
Your body is supposed to take rest and you're giving it some work. What will happen? Say, for instance, in a government office, you have this clerk who's sitting with 10 files a day. Suddenly, you give him 50 files. Will he be able to handle it?
No.
And that too, if you actually make him work overtime and give work after work after work, one day he'll have a breakdown. Right? If you're in alignment with sunrise and sunset, if your body, your lifestyle, everything is in alignment with that, then everything will be perfect. Because when you go to bed at a certain time, which is around, say, 9:30, 10 o'clock onwards, you should be in deep sleep.
Yeah, okay.
If you were to eat dal rice, or else if you were to have rasam rice, or else a simple idli and sambar, versus a biryani. Okay. So one plate of biryani, just imagine how many calories it's going to bring. It's 1,000 plus calories. Okay, now after that, does it stop with that? No. There is a chicken tikka, mutton tikka, or else a chicken 65, or sometimes a fish fry. And there's also an egg there. And then you would also get that shahi tukra or else the bread halwa, right? Like, or there'll be some sweet or an ice cream that they have. Some pair it with a beer. And there could also be some other alcohol. So then what happens to this deadly combination? Just imagine that number of calories consumed. It could be anywhere between 2,000 to 3,500 or 4,000 calories that's gone inside at the wrong time of the day when the organs are supposed to take rest.
Oh boy. Okay.
And there is a cycle wherein you're supposed to cleanse your system and detox and recoup and get ready for the next day.
Right.
This is all ulta.
No, that's true.
That's connected to food.
So of all the diets that I have done in my life, the two things that have really worked for me was intermittent fasting and calorie deficit diet. So now I want to understand, is intermittent fasting safe for everybody?
For women, they seem to have menstrual irregularities or delay in periods if they don't do it right.
Okay.
So the thing is, intermittent fasting helps a lot of people, or rather individuals who have PCOS, that is ladies who have polycystic ovarian syndrome. For them, I've seen like amazing results. Next is also insulin resistance or the pre-diabetes. So male or female, when they go on this kind of a diet, it really helps. But what you eat during those hours is very important. I think that is the key. Because there are people who are like, I can eat whatever I want between those two meals. That is not intermittent fasting. You need to still have in certain conditions that low carb diet, but then with a whole bunch of vegetables. There again, to avoid roots and tubers, which means carrot, beetroots, potato, yam, colocasia is avoided because they have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or PCOS or any of these conditions. And then a lot of high fiber vegetables. And again, the dals that they use, or else if they're going to eat fish or chicken and all of that, it has to be measured. The quantities have to be measured and make sure that they eat within the eating window period. Calorie restriction comes into play there also. It does help because it's time restricted eating, but the food choices also matter. And whether it's a person who's 5 feet tall or 6 feet or 6 feet 5, that matters, right?
Oh, correct.
Right?
Correct.
We can't give
the
same
thing.
diet to
correct.
And for some, what works is breakfast and lunch and finishing the second meal of the day by 4 or 5 p.m. That works out beautifully for a lot of people, especially the ones who are early risers, who wake up periodically every single day by 3 a.m. or say 5 a.m. and that's their schedule since long. Or for some who wake up late and who say, I don't need breakfast. My husband is like that, right? So he's like, he's never wanted breakfast. I'm a breakfast person, but not him. For him, lunch and dinner works.
Yes.
Okay, so dinner would be a nice salad. Lunch will be, say, a cup of curd and then 2 vegetables, or else it could be fish cutlets or chicken cutlets or something, and that works out very well for him. And he needs his lunch and dinner. So that's what we really need to speak to certain people. See, theory might say you take all the goodness of it, but then you also treat that individual, listen to them, because there are a lot of cues that they give, and if we do not actually listen to them and customize it, they won't even follow what we've prescribed.
That's true.
That happens. So intermittent fasting, if done right, is amazing.